All right, everybody, what is going on? Need more drums back in our city of Stay Movingsburg for the next installment of our public transit series, where we're trying to use all the forms of public transport. And if you've been keeping along with the series, you will know that we are well on our way in this goal. We got ferries, trams, planes, monorails, trains, but there's still a lot more to go. And some of the areas have great access to public transport, but some of them, yeah, we need some work. So hopefully today we're going to do a couple more forms that will get us closer to using all the forms, and hopefully, this will add some more efficiency into our public transport network. Let's just go ahead and jump right into it, because we have a lot to get done today. All right, guys, so we got quite a bit of stuff going on in the city as of now. I mean, just look at these ferries going all over the place. We got boats, the waters are lively. We got tons of trains going around, tons of planes flying overhead. This is awesome. It's really starting to come together, and I've really been enjoying this build. So thank you guys all for the support. This island, everybody seemed to really like that. So yeah, love getting some good views and some new subscribers. So this is your friendly reminder to subscribe if you have not done so yet, if you want to follow along with the series, and also give the video a like too at some point if you find this entertaining or helpful in any way. So today I want to focus on a couple of forms of public transport rather than just doing one, and this should be pretty simple to implement. I'm not envisioning very big networks, and those are trolley buses and taxis. So these two are forms that people don't typically use, or maybe you do, but I just feel like they're not as, everybody loves trains, everybody loves regular buses, but nobody really uses trolley buses too much, at least I don't think. And there are some reasons for that, and I think one of the reasons is that trolley buses kind of function more like trams, because you have to have a dedicated, infrastructure to be able to run them. You have to have wires over the roads, so you kind of have to lay them out almost similar to tram networks. And so it's not just as simple as a regular bus where you just assign it a stop on any street and they can just travel to and from that area as they wish. Trolley buses are a little bit more complicated than that. You have to kind of lay out the networks in a certain way. And taxis, yeah, I just feel like people don't really use taxis too much. It was a form that they kind of threw in the game a little bit later on. And it's not the best form of public transport, I'll admit, but nonetheless, any kind of ride share where it eliminates somebody having to use a car, granted they are in a car, but somebody having to eliminate using their own car, that is a benefit to the city. And especially given that we have an airport, and a pretty straight shot to the downtown and pretty good, interstate network, we should have no problem making use of a good taxi service to get people around some of those more populated areas on those long distance trips. So buses are coming, some other forms are coming, but I wanted to kind of do these first because I feel like, especially with a trolley bus network, some of these trolley bus destinations or stops will serve as a destination for the buses when we start getting those into the city. So I want to try to keep those networks a little bit intertwined and kind of have them overlap a little bit so people can use some different forms of public transport to get where they need to go. So for this episode, for the trolley buses, let's just start with those. And I want to just start by laying out exactly where we're going to put them. So as you may or may not remember, the city's kind of split into two parts. We have this massive downtown and, big part of the city over here on this side, and, some suburbs over here, but nonetheless, this part is kind of the main area. But then we also have this part of the city, which is where we actually started. The start tile was, right over here. And it's kind of been neglected a little bit. As the city expanded, we started developing a lot of the train lines and bus networks over here, but we didn't really do anything with this part yet. So that's kind of what I want to do today, is I want to give this part of the city sort of its own unique public transport network, at least one of the forms. So that's what I want to do with the trolley buses. I want to make this whole area trolley bus friendly. And the reason that I kind of want to do it here is because this is a pretty nice strip of land for having something like that. You know, it's going to be a very point-to-point system. There's not going to be a ton of infrastructure that we're going to need to put in place. Whereas if I were to do it over here, you know, we'd probably have to build out something a little more complex and, you know, a little bit, it would definitely be on a bigger scale. Whereas this might be a little bit simpler to construct and simpler to plan. And I'd like to, you know, save the complicated stuff for over here. Well, I guess not really. You know what I mean? I want to save like the bus networks for over here because they're going to have to go, you know, probably on some more side streets and things. And I don't want to populate those with a bunch of trolleybus networks. Whereas here, I feel like it's all right because, you know, I want to keep them kind of more to the main roads. So let's go ahead and start kind of looking at, you know, some of the options that we have, because to be honest, I've never really used trolleybuses before. So let's go take a look. All right, so like I said, these do function more similar to trams than anything. So we got to start, you know, with the depot, and then the depot has to connect to the to the wired network over the road. So it can't, you know, they can't really stand on their own like regular buses can. So you know, it kind of gives us some limitations as to where we can put some of these. But I think I have a pretty good idea of what I want to do. So essentially, I would like to put the depot over here by this industry, since, you know, that probably makes the most sense. And then, or maybe even out over here in the middle of nowhere. But I feel like that's a little bit of a stretch for what we're going to try to do. But essentially, I want to have, you know, the network kind of come around through this populated shopping district here. Maybe even run along the coast here. I think that might be kind of nice. Although I will see if we have anything with bike lanes, because I would like to keep these bike lanes here. I think this is kind of a nice scenic bike ride along this road, and it doesn't really seem to be getting a lot of traffic use. But at least we can have it come, you know, through here, and probably just make a nice little loop around here or something like that, and then you know, have it just come down along the coast and into this next little town over here, and kind of do a similar thing. We'll maybe do like a loop around this area here, considering that, you know, this is another little development over here, and so I want people to be able to access that as well. And this is a community college, so I do want to have this be a destination as well, so that people can get there pretty effectively. And then from there, you know, I don't really think I'll have anything out this way. Actually, we do have the ferry stop here, and I know it's kind of tucked away in the middle of nowhere, but I think it would be a good idea to have something here or close to here that people can access, you know, to bring people into the town, rather than having just to walk all the way over here. So I might do something here. And I know we're really, really cramped for space. I don't really want to delete any houses, but I don't know. These might have to go. We'll see. We'll see. If not, we're gonna try to make it work. So let's just put down the depot, and we will start building. So it turns out that this depot is a little bit bigger than I thought, which is fine. We're just gonna have to maybe rearrange a few things over here on this industrial island to make it work. And I think we do have some wasted space kind of down here by the coast, so I'm thinking about maybe making this more of a square city block, and we'll have much more usable space. Yes, and I know a bunch of people are probably freaking out right now and are wondering why I deleted so many buildings. But sometimes, you know, you got to figure that this bus depot was probably at one point an old industrial warehouse, and, you know, they had to make some changes to be able to you know, provide the service to people. And so something like this probably would have already been here. And, you know, I know the roads have changed a little bit, but, you know, you figure that it still has an industrial past, and people probably wouldn't really mind this conversion. All right, and so now that we have this depot placed down, it's time to start dragging out our wires. And so I think that, like I said, we're going to probably stick to these main roads here and just kind of have a pretty simple line. So let's go ahead and just start by, you know, coming out from here, connecting up to that. And I note that we don't have a ton of options when it comes to these trolleybus roads. You know, we got to be, you know, everything's pretty simple, just our simple avenues and everything. It doesn't. Oh, we do have one with bike lanes, so that's kind of cool. Except I kind of like this median. I think I have a better idea of where I want to put that line. I don't really want it to go along that way too much. So I will say that is not super ideal having this roundabout the way it is. I'm actually going to have to condense this highway now because I cannot have 3 lanes merge into 2. That is just not going to work at all. So yeah, we're going to have to do something a little bit different here. And actually, let's just fix that right now. We can't, yeah, there's no way that that's going to be a functional roundabout. I mean, even the 2 into 2 is a little bit questionable. I would say it's always better to have one extra lane than you need. So this might not work out too well for us, but this highway doesn't seem to be super congested, so I think the 2 lanes should be okay, but we'll figure this out later if we need to make any adjustments. And so coming through here, I wanted to make sure that the shopping district had nice access. And then I'm also going to bring this just around here by this higher density area here, so that these people can also have access to public transport. And we keep in mind we also have this hotel here that I forgot that I put down, so that'll be a nice access point for them as well. And then I think this road here serves as a good road to bring this line back around. So we're going to do that. We're going to bring this line back around this way. And it is a shame that I don't have any tree lined streets for this. I'm thinking maybe for this I'll put some bicycle lanes in so that people at least don't hate it as much. The good thing is though is that these trolley buses I don't believe are super noisy, so we should still have, you know, it'll be less noisy than buses, that's for sure. And then I just figured it might be a good idea to connect these bike lanes up to this one, since we have it all the way through here. It just makes sense. So I feel like with the width of this island, you know, all of these trolleybus lines are pretty much within walkable distance. I mean, if you need to catch one of these from even this house, it's only about 2 blocks to get to this line. So I don't think it's that, you know, unobtainable for people to do so. Even from here, it's a little bit far, but I doubt that, you know, with this being more of a suburb, I figured these people might have some more cars anyway, so it probably is not much of a problem. And I don't really want to run lines through here to kind of disrupt this peaceful area, so we're going to keep it like this for now. And maybe what I might do is even try to think about adding a parking lot somewhere closer to this line, so that people could park, you know, maybe here or something, so that people could park and then get on the line once we start adding our stops in. But that's something for the future. So for now, I like this little loop that we have. I think it's functional, and I think it'll be good enough for what we need right now. And so now I want to bring it just back, you know, down this main road here and get to some of the other populated areas. And I am trying to upgrade some of these networks to include trees, because I like trees. You know, I don't like the median of the roads to be just concrete, especially in some of these nicer areas. And we actually don't have a grass median for these, which is kind of a letdown, but you know, it is what it is. So we're gonna work with what we got. And this is actually a pretty busy road, but I don't really think we could upgrade it to 4 lanes right now. And I mean, even though it is busy, I still think it's fine just as is, but we are going to run the trolley buses here anyway. I think that makes sense. I need to get over here. So this is where I'm thinking about bringing it down to the ferry line. I kind of think I do want to keep the bicycle lanes, but I also want trees. So I think this might be the best option, to be honest. Even though it's going 6 lanes and we haven't really used 6-lane roads, I think it's going to be, yeah, I think it makes the most sense However, I'm gonna, yeah, we're gonna delete these buildings anyway. So these buildings will rebuild. I'm not worried about that. Yeah, let's just do it. Now I think this is going to be one of those spots where we're going to have to do a little bit of a reworking of the infrastructure. And I only say that because, you know, I want to make some kind of loop over here for the trolley buses so they can pick up people from the ferry. And with this being, you know, these houses being right here, I think, oh, I didn't even think about that, because I can't do that anyway. I forgot I can't upgrade that road because we're in mainly vanilla mode. Well, that is unfortunate. I guess we're gonna have to find an alternative route here. I'm wondering if we can make some sort of path, just a pathway maybe to here, and then have the trolley bus kind of loop around this little suburban area. And I was thinking about this the other day. I kind of want to convert these to high density. I think this part of the city just looks like so bad, and I know it's awful, and it looks like, you know, some like 4-year-old just like whipped this up out of nowhere. But, you know, yeah, I think I'm gonna, oh, it did convert these to high density. They just haven't leveled up yet, and a lot of them probably won't. So we're just gonna, you know what, we're gonna force it. Since I already have them zoned, I'm not actually doing anything super detrimental. People will move back in here, no problem. Let's leave that for now, and then they will they'll grow, and then we can have the trolley bus kind of come through here. That makes a little bit more sense than the way we had it before. And now this can just kind of loop back up with this main line here, and then we can kind of just be done with that part of it. I don't really know. Let's see. I do want to bring some people down over here, but let's get to that in a second. So for this, I do want to bring a pedestrian pathway kind of along the side here. So all that we have to do is probably just get rid of some of these trees, and then we can have it kind of snake right through here, since it's a little bit of a steep elevation change, but I think we can make it work. That's actually not a bad solution, so I am happy with that for now. Again, it doesn't look great, I know, but, you know, it'll get people, it'll be functional. So that's at the end of the day, we want this to be functional and efficient. So I think we're good there. And then we can, you know, I guess unupgrade this road back to just the regular 4-lane with bike lanes, since they're going to be looping around here anyway. So that's pretty good for this spot. And now the next thing that I want to do is make a line that goes around here. And I'll probably just have it, you know, stem off of the main line, and then just kind of make a loop around here. And I don't really want to have it go all the way around by these houses. I think, you know, this will be fine. Just kind of like a little divergence, if you will, from the main line. Shouldn't be too much of a problem, although I am disappointed. Oh, no, we do have the one with the, oh, no, we don't have the one with the trees in the middle. That's a shame. I really don't want to get rid of these trees. I'll probably just keep it actually just right here, so that, because people could walk here from, you know, they don't need the trolley bus all the way through here. So we're gonna just do this. Since this has bike lanes and this has bike lanes, we're gonna make all this have bike lanes. So that's a nice little loop, and hopefully this road doesn't get too congested here. I may have to upgrade this to a 4-lane or avenue or something at some point, but for now, especially this, with it going 3 lanes down to 1, you know, I do want to keep the bike lanes though, so I think I'm gonna leave it at that. I don't really want a concrete median. I do really like the trees, and since this is a little bit more of a dense area, I think it kind of makes sense. But yeah, for here, people can, you know, they'll figure it out. I think, hopefully. I'm not confident, but we'll see. So I know that's probably bad, but if this road gets too congested here, then we'll just downgrade it to a 4-lane, because this is actually too many lanes. You know what? Actually, let's just for a little bit, just for a small section of it, let's just make it a 4-lane road so that people can, you know, gradually increase and decrease the amount of lanes that they use. So we're not going from 3 to 1. That'll just create chaos. So let's not do that. And also, I just realized this is not even zoned over here. I don't know what's going on there. Let me get that zoned real quick. Yeah, definitely don't want to forget about that. So, all right. So that is a pretty solid loop, I would say. I'm actually quite happy with, you know, not happy with the design of this part of the city, but I am happy with where these lines are kind of going for now. Yeah, I think the next thing is just going to be placing some stops and getting the buses actually running. But let me just do a double check real quick, and it looks like I hit everything that I wanted to hit with these trolleybus lines. So we'll just start getting the stops placed, and I'll chat with you guys in a bit. All right, and so we got our line laid out. So hopefully we'll just let this run for a little bit, let the buses get where they need to go, and then hopefully, you know, it'll start to get some of these people moving around. I know we already have quite a few people waiting on some of the stops, especially this one. There's one over here that's already got like over 100 people kind of waiting. So we might have to switch to some of the higher capacity articulated buses if this doesn't cover everything. And I know this, you know, this is kind of a long line, to be honest. I almost debated doing maybe two separate lines, having one kind of cover this area and one kind of cover this area. But in reality, I mean, I don't really think it makes much of a difference because, you know, it's a pretty straight path either way. So I think that any kind of secondary line, I mean, if we have enough vehicles on this one line, it should be able to cover it okay. So I'm not too worried about that. But anyway, we got that done. Let's go ahead and move on to some of the taxis. So the taxis are going to be pretty straightforward. And I think the main, obviously, we're going to have something at the airport and probably just a couple of taxi hubs around some of the busier areas. I'm anticipating, you know, since, again, it's not the most efficient form of public transit, it's more to get people, you know, you figure people leaving on vacation, people trying to get into the city a little more quickly if they don't have the time to wait for a train or for a bus or something like, or, you know, anything like that. So I think having something by the airport will be nice. Probably something, I would say, by the university might be okay. Definitely one over here by the harbor, that we'll find a place for one there. Definitely in over here by this main transit center. I think that's going to be very, very important. And probably one on this side here, maybe by the pedestrian area or the museum, for example. I think that should be fine as long as people, because then once we get people into these busier areas, you know, they can just pick up another form of public transit that we already have, you know, like one of the tram lines or something like that. Maybe we'll even have one kind of go over here, but I feel like that's a little bit of a ways away. I don't know if people really take taxis that far, since this is kind of a whole separate region per se. I don't really know how effective that's gonna be, so we'll think about it. But yeah, for now, let's go ahead and play some of these down. And apologies about my voice. I recorded the first part of this episode a few days ago, and then since then I've kind of come down with a little bit of a cold. So if my voice sounds a little weird, that is why, and I apologize. But City Skylines waits for no one. You know, we still got to get this done, keep this moving. New game's coming out soon, so gotta be ready. But anyway, let's begin by placing down the taxi depot. Luckily, this is a pretty small building. Actually, I'm surprised at how small it is. I thought it was going to be a little bit bigger. So we should be able to fit this around here, no problem. And I do kind of want to put it by the airport, just because it's you know, that's where a lot of these people are probably going to be going. I want to put it in a spot where, you know, I thought about right here, but this is right on a main road. I kind of don't want to put it right on a main road because it's going to generate a lot of traffic. This road is a pretty busy one, but this part of the road here actually might not be too bad, and we can make use of this space kind of over here by this on ramp. Let's see if it'll fit kind of over here. I think this might be a good spot to put it. Yeah, I would say that's not a bad spot right there. The only thing is, though, I would like to, since it won't be able to make a left. Oh, what the heck? What's some American looking taxis? So I don't really know where these people are going. Oh, they actually go. Oh, I see. Interesting. Okay. Well, if this is only 25. If this only has 25 taxis, we might actually need a couple of these around the city. So why don't we? Yeah, okay, I see now. I actually didn't know how they worked in this game, so that actually is good to know. But what I do want to do is make at least this part of the road an actual road, so that people can taxis can actually cross over and make a left to get to the hotel without having to go, you know, do some weird round here to try to turn around. So we're gonna leave that for now, and I'll come back and do a little more you know, detail work a little bit later. But yeah, we'll put that there, and let's start putting down some of these taxi stands. So I think one of these we could put down. Honestly, if it works here, I kind of just want to put it like right like that. I think that's the bushes kind of kill it for me, but whatever. I think it's fine for what we're looking to do. Or I guess I could put it on the other side, but I don't really want to. Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna put it over here. Let's do that. Put it across the street right there. Perfect. So we'll leave that like that for now. People can come from the hotel and go pick that up. And then I do want to put another one. Like I said, I want to put one probably. I don't know. Maybe I could actually fit one over here by this train station here. That might make sense. This is actually kind of a pretty busy area. You know, it might actually be beneficial to put something like that over here. The only problem is, though, I think I need to make an adjustment here. Something that I realized that I changed or didn't really think of. For this road, there's only one. This whole side has one street for all traffic that wants to get over here. And so if I do have any kind of bus network or anything, there's really not going to be a loop to bring people around. So I think I'm going to have to put a road through here just to make an additional connection so that we can get, you know, oh shoot, don't want to put that there. I think that's going to help us out a little bit. And I know that, you know, we just deleted a couple homes, but I mean, it is what it is. We gotta make room for, we gotta have an efficient city too. So, eminent domain at its finest. But yeah, that'll work for now. So we'll keep that there. And yeah, I'll think about a taxi stand here. I'm not too sure about that yet, but I think we will need one by the university. I would also like to place one over here, and these things are so just space efficient. I mean, it's actually really, really nice how easy it is to put these down in these areas. And then, of course, I want to put one over here by the main station. And I'm thinking I could probably just put one kind of over here to make use of this space, since this is kind of an unused space at the moment. That'll make sense. I feel like something over here by the stock exchange might be useful, since, you know, we have a lot of people kind of coming through this area. This is a pretty You know, we have the art museum over there. I feel like that might actually be beneficial to have one over here. Also kind of fits in nicely with that little corner there. And I'll try to put probably 1 or 2 over in this area as well. Probably right by this right over here by this museum somehow. If I could build one. Thanks to move it. We can change that pretty quickly there. So yeah, we can fit one right there nicely. And oh yeah, I can't forget about the stadium. Definitely put one by the stadium as well, because this is a very high volume area, and I don't want to bring a lot of cars through here. So maybe having the taxis will eliminate some car traffic, and we already have the trams, which is really, really nice. So hopefully all of this can help kind of keep everything over here moving pretty smoothly. And I'll be honest, you know, I don't know too much about how these really work in this game. I haven't really used them, as you can tell, so I'm just kind of going out on a limb here and just seeing if they're actually going to be useful or not. My guess is maybe, but it might not eliminate our problem as much as I think it will, especially given that this only has 25 cars. So I would like to actually get probably 100 taxis in the city would be a good number to start. So I think I might put down a couple more of these, particularly in some of these, you know, older industrialized areas. For example, like right here, this might be a good spot for one by the factory, and we have the shopping centers over here. I think this would be a logical place to put one of these taxi depots. So let me go ahead and put one down over here. And I always kind of like, you know, the idea of making use of these spaces close to the expressway. You know, typically these any kind of space underneath it will be wasted, and you know, there's not a lot that you could really do with that space. But putting down any kind of, you know, parking or something actually really makes good use of that space. I know in Chicago there's tons and tons of like spot hero spots, you know, where you could rent out the parking spaces and everything. It's a lot of times they're under, you know, like a rail line or underneath a overpass in some kind of unused area, because people want to turn those areas into income, you know, into money. So that's a great way to do it, is by renting it out as some, you know, form of like real estate. So can't blame them. I would do it too if I had the opportunity. And I want to put down one more, but I'm just kind of struggling about where to actually put it. Perfect. Right by some other public transport areas. I think that'll be a fine spot to put that. So now we have 4 depots. We've got 100 taxis at our disposal. Hopefully, you know, they'll do something for the city. Like I said, I've never used them before, so I'm curious. I've heard that they are not, you know, super efficient, but we'll see if they how well they work. But yeah, let's I'm still waiting, you know, a little bit for the trolley buses. So let's go ahead and just take a second, let the game run, and then I'm gonna check back in with you guys, and we'll see if we need to make any changes to that network. All right, we're back, and the line is people are really using it. I can't say I'm surprised, because there's really not a ton of options down here, and there's a lot of you know, higher density residential zones, and we have the ferry stop, and you know, 2 ferry stops. So yeah, there's some reasons that people need to get around over here. So I really can't blame them. But I don't know. I think we're gonna have to. I don't really want to increase the number of vehicles too much, and I don't think that's really gonna help, considering that this stop literally has 250 people waiting at it. So I think we might have to do a little bit of both. I'd like to increase the vehicle number, and let's actually look at what other buses we have, because thanks to some of the recent DLC, we have tons of options for trolley buses and other, vehicles from other transport types. So I had this 28 capacity bus, which is obviously not cutting it. I think we're gonna have to opt for one of the articulated ones. I think I'm good thinking about just full sending it all the way to 90, because 75 might be okay, but the 51s probably aren't going to be enough. Even though some of these I think look the best, but this one, I'm curious how this one's going to look. And let's bump it up. Bump it up to 20. There might be a ton of trolley buses on the road, but you know what? I don't really care, because all that I care about is having an efficient public transit network. Yeah, that is quite a large bus. I mean, look at that. It's like a triple trailer. Oh my goodness. If this doesn't solve some problems, then I don't know what will, So we're gonna make it work. I'm actually excited to see what happens with this. And yeah, in the meantime, while this is going on here, I'm gonna take a quick second and actually upgrade some of these roads, because not upgrade per se, but upgrade with better trees, because I just put these down and didn't really do anything with the trees yet, and I kind of like to make sure all the roads look really nice. I always like my tree line roads to be really pretty. So let's see what we can do with some of these. And you know what? I actually thought this part of the city could use a little bit more greenery. It's looking kind of plain over here. I know that I didn't put a lot of effort into this part of the city at all, but sorry. This is just I wanted to whip it together and expand the city as quickly as possible when I started it. So, oh well. Sometimes you just gotta deal with it. I just want to be able to actually play in this game and not spend a ton of time on detail. So, not one of my best builds, but it works. So. Anyway, yeah, I think now that we've got some more vehicles on the line, I think it's flowing a little bit better. Looks like there's still, some stops with quite a few people waiting, but I know that I think a lot of these, some of these vehicles are actually still kind of making their way along the line. Yeah, it doesn't look like we have all. If we do have all 20, we might have all 20, but I know the vanilla public transport logic is not always the best. Yeah, these guys are still getting there or something. So yeah, the vanilla logic is not always the best. I know that they kind of bunch up. That's why there are mods to help fix that, but obviously right now I do not have any. So that's is what it is. So can't complain. But anyway, will they figure out where we're going or where they're going? I think that is pretty much all that I have in terms of this episode. Wasn't super eventful, I know, so sorry about that. Yeah, but I think in the next one we're finally going to get into buses, because I think that's kind of the last main form that we need. That we've, other than like some of the obscure ones that I'll kind of probably just do in one final video and, have a little fun with some of those, because I've just never, some of these public transport types I've just never, ever even looked at or considered placing down ever. So definitely a bit of a challenge, but yeah, for now I think this is a good place to call it. Stay tuned next week where we got some buses, and then we'll work on some other parts of the city too, hopefully maybe clean some things up just for the fun of it. But yeah, in the meantime, I hope y'all have a really great rest of your week, and I'll see you guys in the next episode. Peace out, and thank you so much for watching. Again, sorry about my voice. Hopefully I get better too. But anyway, see you guys later. Bye.